Cade Cunningham was viewed as one of the more highly touted prospects in recent memory when he entered the NBA. He drew comparisons to guys like James Harden and Luka Doncic as big playmaking guards. However, given the inefficiency and lack of team success through his first 3 NBA seasons, it's led to people questioning if Cade is still that future superstar, and if he has the upside that made him the consensus first overall pick, especially with guys drafted after him performing better through 3 NBA seasons. In this video, I want to talk about what I have seen on tape and in the numbers with Cade Cunningham, what I believe he is as a player right now, as well as what I see in terms of upside with him as a player moving forward. But quickly before we go any further, if you're new and like basketball, I'd really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'm notified whenever I release a video. I make videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the 2 best ways can help me on the YouTube algorithm, help support the channel, and I'll be reaching my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Let's try and get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend to others. Anyways, let's talk about Cade Cunningham. Cade has unreal playmaking intangibles. His vision is incredible, his feel for the game is off the charts, he wants to make those around him better, and it's the biggest selling point with him as a player. A tall playmaker that can zero the defense, make advanced reads, and also does have enough scoring gravity to create advantages. He's very good in pick and roll situations as a ball handler, he has creativity as a passer, and I do think he's one of the better playmakers in the NBA. I think he's capable of handling primary playmaking reps while also having the versatility to be a connecting playmaker as well. This is the skill that gives Cade a high floor as a player. His upside may be a question mark, that's why we're talking about that in this video, but you can't deny that his floor is really high, and that's a testament to his feel for the game, which is very evident in his ability as a playmaker. Another area I've been impressed with Cade has been his mid-range scoring. According to Cleaning the Glass, he's shooting 42% on 4.5 short mid-range attempts per game, which are shots between 4 feet and just within 14 feet, and 47% on 3.6 long mid-range attempts per game, which are shots between 14 feet and just within the 3-point line. Those are good shooting numbers for a player who's in the 95th percentile on mid-range shot frequency. I believe the mid-range area is still one of the most valuable in the NBA, because while there are more efficient shots or productive shots like layups and 3-pointers, if you're a good mid-range shooter, that is a leverage that can open up opportunities on the other 2 levels of the court. And considering Cade does take shots on all 3 levels of the court with at least noticeable volume, the fact that he is a good mid-range shooter is encouraging. His mechanics are fluid in this area, he's really good as a pull-up shooter within the arc, he's shooting 47.6% on 5.2 pull-up shots within the arc per game. This is an area I wanted to see growth with Cade in his first 2 seasons, because I believe that it would expand his game, and that's been the case this season. It's been a big factor in him seeing improvement with his production and efficiency in year 3. The other area that has been really encouraging to me when it comes to his scoring is the 3-point shooting. While the numbers aren't great, 36.1% on 5.3 attempts per game is still solid. Now, it should be noted that he's better off the ball as a shooter than on the ball. He's shooting 38% on 3.3 catch and shoot 3-point attempts per game, and he's shooting 33% on 2 pull-up attempts from 3 per game. While there are questions about Cade's ceiling as an on-ball scorer, we won't talk about it soon, I do think it's promising that he's showing real ability as a catch and shoot player. He's not a lost cause on the ball, but being able to score off the ball is another reason he has a high floor. It allows him to play off of others if necessary. Granted, it hasn't been necessary because he carries a massive offensive load for this Pistons team, but the 3-point shooting is a sign of lineup flexibility and ball versatility. Overall, I've been impressed with the results from Cade as a 3-point shooter, mainly because he takes a lot of shots from non-corner areas from 3. I believe that your ability as a non-corner 3-point shooter is a real sign of how good of a shooter you actually art, and the fact that a lot of his 3-point attempts aren't from the corner is very encouraging. And the other reason I'm encouraged is because this was his first full offseason since he tweaked his form prior to his rookie season, so to see positive results in year 3 is why I believe he'll be a good 3-point shooter long term. Cade has a ton of positives you look for in an offensive player at the NBA level. Playmaking, mid-range scoring, 3-point shooting, on-off ball versatility. However, while those things give him a high floor, his ceiling as a player is a more difficult conversation, and a lot of that has to do with his lack of athleticism and his handle. His handle is solid but not great, and his burst and quickness aren't great either. He's somebody that I think has shown he can create offense for himself, but I do think that the lack of burst and quickness does hold him back in terms of upside as a creator on the ball. Again, he's not a bad on-ball creator, he's a very capable one, but a lot of his misses from mid-range and 3-point range, I feel like he's forcing a tough shot because he can't consistently create separation. Now, he does somewhat make up for it with an ability to hit contested shots, but it really is something you can't live off of either, especially with that high of a usage. Even the best shot creators who are very capable of hitting tough shots against contested defense also have an ability to consistently create separation, and with Cade that's really a question mark. And the other area I have questions with Cade is his rim pressure. He's shooting 54.3% at the rim on 6.1 attempts per game, putting him in the 12th percentile in terms of rim efficiency. This is really the area I think puts Cade's upside to be a superstar into question, because being a rim pressure threat is a big part of being a superstar in the modern NBA. He doesn't lack strength by any means, but he's hesitant as a finisher even when he gets to his spots, which throws off his rhythm and touch around the basket. His free throw volume has gotten better, which somewhat makes up for it, but 4.4 attempts per game at the line isn't enough to fully make up for being a 12th percentile efficiency player at the rim. Now, I don't think it's all on him. The team around him is bad and the spacing is awful. They don't take a lot of threes, they don't make a lot of threes, so he is dealing with really clogged paints, and I do think on a better team his finishing numbers are a bit better, but at the same time he isn't without fault either. There are moments that aren't his fault, but there are also moments where his finishing problems are because of his own flaws. So how good can Cade Cunningham be? Well, I think his floor is really high due to his feel for the game, the mid-range shooting, and the 3-point ability. But I think the lack of burst and quickness, as well as the handle that's solid but not great, put his upside into question, obviously. It is a bit hard to fully judge Cade because of how bad this Pistons team around him is. I do think in a better situation, the conversation might be a bit different around him. I am a bit lower on his ceiling as a player than I was when he entered the NBA, regardless though. If you go back and watch my older videos about Cade, I did talk about him like he was a future superstar. However, based off what I've seen this season, I don't know if he quite has superstar upside, and a lot of that has to do with not having the handle or athleticism to thrive in two key areas that you look for high-end results in a future superstar. Now, I don't think he's a lost cause in these areas either. I do think in a different situation, he could grow to become good in these areas, but I don't know if he will ever grow in those areas to the point he reaches the thresholds you look for in a superstar. Regardless, if I don't think he's a superstar, I still do think that Cade has a pretty high ceiling. Even if I don't think it's quite as high as I once did, while I don't see this future superstar, I still see All-NBA upside with Cade. He's putting up good numbers despite the team around him not being good. He's had plenty of flashes and moments of taking over games this season. I think realistically the ceiling for Cade is a low-end number 1, high-end number 2. As your best player, he can lead a team to low to mid 40 win seasons, but realistically on a contender, he's a number 2 option, which would actually be beneficial for him as a player. I think not being the primary focus of a team would help his efficiency. I know it's a bit of a weird profile, given that he's 6'6", 220 pounds, with the playmaking tools he does. Usually when you see that type of profile, you project them to be a number one option. But I think given Cade's flaws, he does project better as a number two, which is still a great player. Someone that fits well next to a scoring superstar like a Jason Tatum, SGA, Steph Curry, or KD. I actually think he's a perfect fit next to a guy like Victor Wembanyama, but we don't have to talk about that. I enjoy parity in the NBA. Now, I do think there's still a chance Cade reaches the pre-draft expectations, and that path is if he becomes an all-time shooter to make up for his flaws. Like how Tyrese Halliburton has been able to leverage his all-time shooting ability to make life easier for himself in other areas. That's something that is possible. I don't know if it's realistic to believe, or at least confidently believe that will be the case, and only time will tell. Regardless, even if Cade isn't a future superstar, I still see the upside to be a great NBA player for a long time. And also, by the way, Pistons, please fire Troy Weaver already. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, notified whenever I release a video. I make videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the two best ways can help me out in the YouTube algorithm, help support the channel, and I'll be reaching my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Let's try and get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. Let me know what you think about Cade Cunningham. Do you still think he has superstar upside? What do you think his upside is if you don't think he still has it? How good do you think he can be? Do you think the Pistons could maybe turn around and still have a bright future? Go through all that in the comment section down below. But with that being said, have a nice day. I'll see you guys in the next one.